No more slow starts, please. No more slow starts.
Com o time novo da Loud, acho que eles estão encaixando bem. Acho que eles podem fazer um desempenho bem bom no campeonato. E tem que ver o entrosamento entre os dois jogadores novos, né? O Carlzinho e o Twix. E acho que eles vão se dar bem no jogo.
And it all comes down to this, the Alpha Bracket Finale. Today, we'll find out which teams move on to the semifinal in 2 regional showdowns. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Day 6 of the lock-in. We're coming at you live from the Ginásio do Ibirapuera in São Paulo, Brazil. Of course, I'm Golden Boy here on the desk, joined by Mimi and Sideshow. And boy, oh boy, do we have a show for you. I don't know if you guys can hear it through my microphone, but it is raucous in here, Mimi.
It is already wild. The teams have not even taken the stage yet. We have Loud versus NRG to start things off, and it's crazy that we're already going to know 2 of the teams into that top 4.
Yeah, it's bonkers. Before we even see anyone in the Omega bracket, we're already so deep watching great games, huge matches. It's nasty, this format.
This tournament has been absolutely bonkers, but it's safe to say that we've all been having a damn good time. Now let's go ahead though and talk about yesterday's matches, where they were a little eye-opening to say the least, because first up was my favorite match of the tournament. DRX brought the holy water and fought off El Diablo and the rest of Cloud9. After dropping map 1, we saw the Korean squad completely shut down their opponents.
I thought Cloud9 had it. I'm going to be honest with you, when Cloud9 came out and dominated Pearl, they're definitely the best Pearl team we've seen. The way that DRX bounced back was absurd. Cloud9 just demonstrating, I think, that they don't have that level of experience that's just baked into DRX at this point.
Yeah, they did not appear to. DRX, absolutely impressive. This icebox composition, so incredibly innovative and perfectly played. Then we got into the second match today where EG started off looking great, and then it all went downhill with Talon pulling some absolute craziness.
I mean, it's absolutely absurd. I'm also laughing at the fact that it was America's team that went home in both of these, and yet somebody from production's just throwing shots at EMEA. Every member X did. That didn't even happen yesterday. I mean, it's true. But yeah, it was EG that ended up going home. Talon continued that Cinderella run. A bonkers match that was frankly ludicrous. Yeah. And I think sets up for a weird game today where you've got one side of the bracket, crazy, historic matchup, a rivalry that we've seen all over the place. And on the other side, a massive underdog story, honestly. You got to call it what it is, where Talon are punching way upwards against DRX.
Yeah. And, I mean, we're going to have to look into who flew that lower third. That was unacceptable, out of line. The person who did that no longer works with Riot.
Wasn't that you? Didn't you make that suggestion?
No, I didn't. That was someone else completely. But that does mean no EMEA team can make it into the top 4 from this side of the bracket. It's going to be Americas versus Americas and Pacific versus Pacific for these qualifications.
Yeah, that's right. And with those matches done, basically our alpha bracket is complete. And actually, just go ahead and take a look at it, because you're going to notice it looks like a really weird but strangely tasty pizza. And this is it. Just the pathway to this point has been wild, to say the least, Josh. Yeah. But I couldn't be happier with as a narrative enjoyer of the stories we're getting going into this.
I mean, you had to have a Loud NRG rematch, didn't you? It wouldn't be a Valorant tournament without one. And yeah, it's kind of like a preview of what we're going to be watching once things go back to being regional for a while. You got the Pacific rivalry on one hand, the Americas rivalry on the other. It's going to be sick.
Yeah, indeed it is. And look, folks, today I just hope you guys are ready to buckle in. We have a lot of things, to share with you all, but most importantly, some fantastic games as well. And here's the thing: over in the States, back in Hollywood, actually, we're in the thick of award season, and we've decided to get in on the action and recognize outstanding achievements in the Alpha Bracket games we've seen so far in this tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Alfies. So I came up with that name, so I'm very proud of that. I think
like
I did.
It rolls off the tongue a bit better than Oscars, to be honest.
Before we do our first category, though, we have to get serious, everyone. And you know what you need to get serious.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was my last lap.
You should check.
Let's get a little bit more serious.
I'm
That's
buckling
right.
up.
Here we are.
Thank you for the jacket, Oprah.
No problem. I always look out for you, fam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blazers on. You know,
Here
that's
we
how
go.
you know that you're doing serious business on the desk.
Yep. There
Everybody
we go.
wearing suits.
Exactly.
This is serious esport.
And now, let's go ahead and move on to our first category. The most surprising first round exit, and here are the nominees. I think. Yes, there it is. Those are the nominees. BBL, Detonation, HyperX, Heretics, Koi, MIBR, FPX, and of course, Gen G. Okay, thoughts on this one before we go into it?
Now, I would like to nominate Gen G. For me, my particular nominee would be this team. Their opening game against Loud, nasty, super tense. I think this team surprised people. If they had a different matchup, I could definitely have seen them making it to the next round.
As another respectable member of the Academy, I respect your opinion, Josh, but I would have to vote for Koi, personally. I think they played a fantastic, near-perfect attacking side versus NRG in their debut matchup. The coordination looked quite good, and they had some cool ideas. As well, we saw Trex, who looked like an absolute world-class individual on the Sova, had a great performance and played a great game against one of the top members of this group.
Gen G would roll them, but that's okay.
I disagree.
And the winner is... How do I do this? Oh my god, I think I'm gonna fumble this. Gen G!
Wow, that's really professional looking. I like
Yes,
it. I
yeah,
like it.
obviously only the best here for the Alfies. Gen G's your winner. And unfortunately, Gen G are not here to accept this award because we cooked up this segment last minute. I mostly blame production. But anyway, moving on though. Let's go to our next award. It's going to be the Best LAN Debut. And the nominees are Som from NRG and Jit Boys from Talon.
Some very respectable nominees here, but we've had a lot of great debuts. But for me, the guy that I really have to lean towards has to be Som. This guy came out, first international event, and he nearly got a spot on a map named after him. Looked absolutely incredible.
It's already
entering
called
on
Yellow.
Icebox.
You can't call it Som.
Nope, new name,
No,
and
no, no, no.
Som was just so good.
Okay, people might have expected Som to be good. Did anyone expect Jit Boys to be out here popping off? No, you didn't. Jit Boys is the most surprising debutant. He'd take Som to town.
But Som had a better performance than Jit Boys, I would say. I'd say a tougher side of the bracket. Heavier performances out of this man.
And the winner is... Stupid folder thing doesn't work. I'm so nervous. La La Land. I mean, it's Som. Som is the winner. Of course,
that's fair enough.
we asked Som to comment on this monumental victory, and he said to me, "Who are you?" Let's go ahead and move on, though, to our next category. It's the Alpha Bracket All-Star Team, and we'll go ahead and start first with Mimi Squad.
Of course, I have nominated 5 fantastic players as our all-star team in this event. To start things off, we have the IGL. Finesse has been making fantastic calls across this tournament. You have Zeppa, top performer for Cloud9, incredibly flexible. Some already talked about him. He is great. Kellox, a guy who came out and impressed on Jet, took over a match, and I think with a strong team behind him, has potential to be great. You round that out with Cloud, another player with a fantastic debut, an excellent performance on the Sova role, and this team is bound to succeed.
That's interesting. You've picked up a roster full of bums. It holds nothing to my all-star.
No respect to these guys. Do not know what they've done. Do not know who they are.
Nothing even close. You want to see an all-star team? Look at this all-star team from the Alpha Bracket. This would be rolling people around. And you know how I said your roster was bums? Well, I did take Zeppa as well. So but all right, up there at the front, I'm running Artist Jet every game, okay? You can keep Kellogg's. I'm having Artist. He's been going crazy. For the double initiator role, Zeppa was just looking unbelievable up until that most recent slight downward fall. But Crashies, I think, just every time he turns up to a LAN, is hyper consistent, knows how to get deep. Mako, how do you not pick Mako? What, you're picking?
Why are you yelling?
Mako would get rolled by some every day of the week.
I hope we find out later.
Who's IGLing for your team? No leadership, no structure, no success.
Mako is IGLing, and they're all going to learn Korean.
All right,
no,
all
they're
right.
not gonna learn Korean. My team all knows English. They're ready to win.
Enough! Okay. And now it is time to determine who the winner is. And it's stupid. Come on, Kurt. Get these folders. Ask Twitter. Okay, actually, this is great. We're going to leave that up to the viewers at home in today's poll question. Scan the QR code and cast your vote for either Mimi or Josh's team. Josh did call Mimi's team bums. Mimi insulted Josh's integrity as an analyst. Overall, I think it's a win-win across the board. And make sure to use the hashtag VCT LOCK-in and VCT. Well, of course, that website still works.
This is not a professional way to do an award ceremony. Where is the Academy? Where are the voters? Where are the knowledgeable people? I don't know if I can trust
Actually, I hate to say the person, but I was the one who picked.
No way. This is not professional. Take off the blazer. There's no professional.
All right, folks, we're going to go to a quick break, and then we're going to dive into our first match of the day. It's a Champions 2022 rematch of sorts. NRG and Loud take the stage in a moment, and of course, we'll see you on the other side.
Hey, I'm way up, could never be under you. And I never move like a sucker do. Came out the mud and it wasn't because of you. Look at my stats, I got too many W. I got way too many W. Came out the mud and it wasn't because of you. W. Hey, I never care what the others do. I'm in the penthouse enjoying the upper view. Don't ever think that your lady is stuck with you. She pull up on me and tell me I'm lovable. Don't do the cap, never been gullible. I've been a plug and I'm unpluggable. Been undefeated, feel like a mother too. Call me.com, that's www. Really feeling myself. This ain't the place to approach me. I ain't never been on a shelf. I save that space for the trophies. I'm running to it, we get it.
Welcome back, one and all, to Lock In here. And look, Yankees and Red Sox, Lakers and the Celtics, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page. Sorry, I'm going too off in the goop here. Of course, all classic rivalries. And of course, we have our own cooking here, right here in Valorant, NRG and Loud. And this is going to be awesome. These teams have squared off against each other multiple times in the past. And like you said at the top of the show, it wouldn't be a Valorant event unless you had the core of Optic playing against the core of Loud.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, Talon aren't going to be playing in that match, so that'd be a bit difficult. But this Optic and Loud rivalry, this NRG Loud rivalry, it spanned all of the pre-partnerships era. They're dead even, and it was the defining rivalry that actually culminated at the end of Champions. That's nasty. You got to see one of the teams lift the trophy, deny the other, the multiple titles. It's just been everything.
It really has, and it's like the Optic core, now NRG, the best team of the pre-partnership era, most consistent. You have Loud, who won the most recent tournament, are your reigning champions heading into this one. And I think this matchup is even more exciting because it's single elimination. Only one of them can make it to the top 4.
Yeah, and it's basically, you know, it's similar rosters, but they obviously made some changes here going into the season sideshow, and some might say, you know, upgrades in some areas.
Well, I think they've got an extremely similar idea heading into the off-season, where they've made a couple of changes but kept a core of 3 together. The IGL is still there. You still get to see that FNS Sadak kind of battle against each other. But I really want to ask the question, like, how does this Loud team play compared to the past? How does this NRG team play compared to the past as well? Because I do think it's quite different. Obviously, the fans are still popping off at Loud, and they do have the trophy and the championship, but I think that there's a difference in terms of how the teams play now.
Yeah, and Loud feels quite different in the way they play and also in their own expectations. Sadak has said that he feels like this is a new team. This is not the same squad as before. We can take a look at a quote of him saying it himself there. But the expectations for this squad is that this is a new project. This is them, in a way, starting over, resetting expectations. But like you said, Josh, the fans have not reset expectations for this team.
No, and I think that actually the way that they've managed to get through the bracket so far, 2-0, 2-0, even though the maps themselves were close, it carries over that same flair of dominance, doesn't it? But actually the style of the team is so different.
Yeah,
it
let's
really is.
talk about that. What is the style of Loud's play right now? What should people be coming to expect, especially in a matchup against NRG?
I think a lot of old Loud was defined as being different than a lot of past Brazilian Valorant, a lot more structured, a lot more slow on their defaults. But now with this new Loud team, it is really up the ante on the pace. Let's take a look at one of these clips from their game versus Carmine Core, where they're playing this double duelist comp and are just so much more aggressive than we've come to expect from the previous iteration of Loud. You have Sadak running in as the IGL, playing Raze, which is something he never really played before, and diving in with the rest of the team. And it's worked well for them, but it does stand in stark contrast.
Yeah, even if you want to look at the most basic stuff, they're running solo initiator, double duelist on a bunch of maps.
Yeah.
They're winning on the attack sides way more than the defense, which again is a swap compared to what they were known for previously. So a lot of stuff is very different.
Yeah, it's exciting to see how this team has evolved in such a short amount of time. But let's actually go inside of the comms of Loud for a crucial round 20 against Gen G that was chaotic and full of ults. Let's actually check out this in-zone open mic.
That glass cannon shattered and we look towards A, already made that progress towards it.
사이트 들어갈게. 오케이. 레드 플래시. 깠어. 계단 선. 해커 나간다. 사이트 2층 조심, 사이트 2층. 2층만 조심, 2층만 조심. 공 조심. 자, 땡이 시켜서만 하거든. 수나 광 올치도. 킬들 붕대 줄 수 있어, 내가. 설 눌러볼게, 설 눌러볼게. 민 한 명만 도와주라. 나 갈게. 나 죽었다, 이거 죽었다. 설하고 죽었다. Volta, tá? Vez marca a garagem, eu te. A garagem. O Brinten, eu te viu? Tomei, eu te bomba estourado. Lazy bem, Bem, tá, voltar. Tá, bater mais um. Olha a costas, velho. Não consigo, come. Baguei uma. Tá cego. Vai ficar retido. Todas as ultis lá. Guarda todas as ultis. Boa, aí é foda. Boa, meta. Boa, argentino. Tá pro caralho.
So I think the question that is on a lot of people's mind is like, is this roster better or worse than what we saw at Champs?
In my opinion, I think what we've seen thus far has been weaker than Loud at Champions. They're still a strong team, but Loud at Champions had such incredible depth and coordination from the amount of time they put into that roster. They had no clear star. Everyone was putting in equal work. And for this team, it still feels like they're growing pains.
Well, but they are growing too, right?
Yeah, exactly. And now, also, I think the discussion on the new players, right? They're coming in and they're filling big shoes, the shoes of Sasi and Pinkata, who do you think, though, has made the biggest difference, you would say, for how Loud is playing right now? Who has contributed?
I think it's definitely Cowanzine is the biggest difference compared to Sassy.
Okay.
In terms of the play style, the agency play, so I want to walk you through it, right? Cowanzine's been playing Breach, Sky compared to Sassy's Fades over. It's not just a meta difference, though. So look at the production from these guys. Sassy was a very safe player, a little passive at times, you could even say. Cowanzine is getting 20% of his team's kills, and he actually dies the most so far on everybody in Loud. That is such a difference compared to Sassy. And he's left in less clutch opportunities because he dies earlier in the round as well. But he's also getting higher damage, higher kills. So it's not a sense of me saying Cowanzine's worse than Sassy, but the players play so differently. Cowanzine's up in your face, flashes for himself, pushing through smokes, getting up, getting aggressive, and that is lending itself to a way faster-paced, aggressive Loud. Whereas Sassy was always there, always solid, had your trade, had your clutch, had, you know, never making a mistake. And that is one of the biggest differences between them. And maybe it's exploitable, or maybe Cowanzine's just going to carry.
Yeah, I think also a big point of that is that they've lost a big voice in the team. Sadak and Sassy were that leadership duo that built Old Loud from the ground up. Now it's just Sadak left and having to integrate new players with that whole new style.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead, though, and move on to Loud's opponents. And, you know, you know them as NRG, but the team's DNA is very much green because this was the Optic Core, and they've made some new additions here. And I think, like, from what I've seen so far, Mimi, for me personally, I like this new version of NRG a lot more than the old one.
Yeah, and to go back to your question as well, Josh, I think that this team is fantastic. I agree with you, GB. But old Optic was very much reliant on Ye, his individual performances, him popping up. He got like over a third of the opening kills. He got a quarter of the total kills for this team. Now that's being spread across the new players on this roster. It's a much more even team than they used to be. They're no longer relying on that superstar.
Yeah, and I think that they've kept some things the same. Clearly they've got a Star Smokes player still, but they've also got some incredible calling. I mean, look at this round, round 12. FNS calls a fake here onto C. It's the exact same execute that they normally go for, except look where the spike's going. Look where the initiators are going. They even invest a lockdown into this round to super sell it. And the other part to look at the replay here is, this is a fake and Artis is getting so many kills.
Yeah.
So not only do you keep that awesome star player, but specifically when Artis is on Jet, I'm not saying on everything, but you also get this classic FNS flair with the fake calling. So on one side, Loud really has changed their style. On the other side, NRG is leaning on what worked for them in the past. I do think, though, GB, it's too early to say that this team is better than before, because they haven't faced like a top dog yet.
Well,
in the
I think for me, it's like the reason why I like Artis in this team a little bit more than Ye is because they get a little bit more variety out of Artis.
Sure.
They can put him in more roles, and I think that might actually benefit them in the long run.
But I think that is also unfair to Ye, because it was a very different meta back then. It's a different game. One thing that is also stuck over in this roster, as you saw below, is the slow starts. Both matches thus far, NRG has started incredibly slow and had to rely on FNS's great calling to come back. That could be an issue in this matchup, as it has been in the past for Optic.
All right, well, look, folks, let's go ahead and we actually have one of our best telestration segments of all time, because he's a board-certified telestrator expert. It's Brent. He's actually going to be standing by to break down a round where NRG had the chip stacked against him versus Giants. Brent?
Thank you very much, GB. Yeah, that's high praise, I think, honestly, as well. Board certified, I think you said there for that one. But hopefully I can shine some light on NRG in this squad, honestly, and them, in my opinion, reaching a similar kind of form that they have been when they've been in championship caliber form, where they're reaching the finals, winning events, things like that. Because this moment that I'm breaking down is in their Giants game on Haven, and it's a moment where they make really good mid-round decisions, really good on-the-fly decisions to win a 3v5. Really just unwinnable scenario for most teams. But it starts off with Giants getting these first two opening kills. They take out Artis, they take out Victor. Big kills for them, and it leaves NRG in this 3v5 situation. So most teams right now will be struggling to come up with a plan, but a call gets made for them to try and get this plant down onto A. So Som sets them up with a nice little smoke. There's a dart to set them up backside as well, and they are able to get this plant down eventually. Giants end up playing the percentage play here, which is to play offsite and retake with a numbers advantage, which I think is all well and good. But when you get into this situation, the plant's going to go off for free here. There's a couple of things you can do. You can try and play your post plants from short and long as well. That's one option, maybe holding one player in Hell or Graffiti. You can try and play a crossfire here as well, where you have two players holding underneath with the situation. Or there's a third option where you can try and play aggressively with maybe some utility being used here and a fight through this major choke point. And it looks like NRG in this round are going to be going for that third play. It looks like they're going to be trying to go for an aggressive maneuver through the choke point. You can see them setting up for it right now. Som's going to be getting into position into short for a Paranoia to rip through them, and it looks like FNS and Crashes are going to try and make a play to fight over this as well with the util. But there's a change of plans right at the last moment, and this is that in-the-moment decision-making that's so cool, calm, and collected and reminiscent of that old Optic core when they were winning events for me, and it's FNS playing this angle with Crashes here. This is a one-and-done angle where Crashes is in this corner. You get one kill here, and you die pretty much most of the time. You don't expect to get good value here, but FNS makes a decision here to play on this angle with him, and this is very unusual because it's not a percentage play, it's not a play that's going to be working out. I'll keep playing this. They still send through the Paranoia, but they don't swing and they don't fight off of it. Instead, FNS moves over into the same corner as Crashes here, and he takes the fight early, alone. There's no second swing by Crashes. FNS, listen, he beams down three of them, a ridiculous play in itself, but even if he only gets one, or even if he just dies there, the real layers to this in-the-moment decision-making from him happens when he just really just takes this fight by himself. Because Giants, they are looking at this, and from this, they are building a picture of where each of these players on NRG are in this post plan. And they have no clue that Crashes is holding in this corner. Not a clue in the world. And so FNS, by taking these aggressive fights, Crashes gets set up for this opening kill here, and now the fight just gets taken in a 2v1 situation. Som can swing off Crashes' contact to finish it off, but just being able to make those in-the-moment decisions, cool, calm, and collected, a 3v5 just there, and have layers on layers of a game plan that's clearly just off the cuff, I think proves to me that NRG have got back into that top form the deeper that they've ran into this tournament. So hopefully that shines some light on why I'm pretty high up on NRG for this tournament. I know you guys are talking pretty heavily on Loud, honestly, for this pre-show so far. So I'll send it back to you guys, and hopefully that does explain a bit.
Thank you so much for that, Bren. And yeah, there's a word that he said there that I think really stands true for NRG. Layers. This team has layers, and it's scary to face off against them.
It is really quite terrifying, and in this matchup, it's going to be important, because for NRG, they've had their slow starting in first maps. They've been dominant after that. Loud as well have had some fairly dominant maps. This is going to be the one where both these teams really have to dig deep. All
right, well, look, there's something that we constantly talk about with Optic or NRG now, and it's the slow starts. And they hate when we talk about this. FNS has told me this himself, that he hates that we talk about this. But we actually did get an opportunity to catch up with Crashies about the slow starts and, of course, the match ahead. Let's go ahead and take a look.
We don't like starting slow, obviously. I mean, we were super kind of pissed off that we lost the way we did in Lotus. So yeah, we just came out second map with a vengeance. Chet and FNS had a really good game plan going into Haven. I mean, we showed it. It was like a 13-1 or something, and we were just winning every crazy round. Like, it honestly felt like they had no chance in that game. So yeah, just credit to Chet and FNS.
Left scramble. Big investment, obviously, with the guns, but the swing through. I believe that's a stun and a paranoia to send that one up, and this could just be the final blow.
We're really familiar with Loud, they're familiar with us. Both teams have as much experience as they possibly can, especially the core of Aspaz, Sadhack, and Les. I mean, they've been to, you know, every LAN last year, same as us. It's just gonna be about who plays better on the day, honestly. We've never really had the crowd against us too much in the past. I think it's gonna be an insane, like, feeling, insane energy in that venue. It's gonna be crazy.
Now, I'm sure people are sick of me mentioning this, but the format does not allow you to have slow starts. And so far, NRG, that has been consistent with them across their games. They can't allow that to happen, especially with this crowd behind us.
It's definitely true, but I think when we talk about slow starts, we're actually bunching a bunch of other things together, right? We're saying that they sometimes drop map 1, they sometimes lose in group stage, and they sometimes start out rough in the first half. Those are 3 different issues, really. True. And I don't think, I mean, there's no group stage here. They haven't lost a series so far, and the deeper they get into the tournament, I think they'll start shoring it up. So I'm not really that worried anymore.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what? Let's check in on the performance of our desk and the whole entire team and see where we are with our prediction leaderboard. As it stands right now, I'm a gosh darn genius, sitting at 9-3.
I'm just happy to know we're all smarter than Twitter.
Yeah, that's not that hard, to be fair. Josh, explain yourself.
I can't even remember which matches I got wrong. Actually, no, I do. I punted on Cloud9 because I thought that they had a good chance to beat DRX, and I'm not mad about that. They absolutely rolled map 1, and HyperX looking at me telling me I should never have done that, but I'm not going to apologize for it. I thought they had a chance to win.
All right, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and do our whiteboard predictions, as we always do. Who do we think is going to win this match today? Mimi, I'll start with you.
All right, I've got a good one here. I've got Loud, but no, little asterisk here. We'll lose to NRG. That's the important part there. I just had to have I just could not be seen with a big NRG logo with this crowd around. So
okay,
just had to keep that one locked.
Josh, what did you do?
Well, I didn't think about that point because yeah, I'm going for NRG.
Is that a burger?
Yeah, that's a little burger in the middle there. Yeah.
Did you fill in the entirety the whole outside?
Yeah.
How much time did you put on this?
I was bored. I know this matchup. We've seen this matchup so many times before.
All right, well,
Josh, you moved back to the UK, but you're still very, very much wanting to keep that American visa.
Here's mine, and I went for Loud. That's right. Do not listen to anything Sideshow says.
He's literally picked NRG in the predictions, so don't listen to him.
Don't let him lie.
Okay, all right. Well, look, guys, earlier in the show, we asked you guys to vote for the best Alpha Bracket All-Star roster. Who did you go for? Was it Mimi or Sideshow? Let's go ahead and see the results and what we have coming up here, and it's... Whoa!
That is shockingly close.
That's crazy close.
That was really close.
Yeah.
Mimi, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So proud to have this award for those players under my belt. And also to see Finesse and Som winning that one ahead of the match. I think both those players deserve that all-star status.
Do you feel robbed?
No, I don't at all. I mean, I really feel like you've got an all-star matchup right here. This is the game that people have been waiting for. This is a legendary rivalry.
That's right.
And with so many talented players on both sides.
Yeah, that's right. And look, folks, you honestly couldn't have asked for a better way to close out the entirety of the Alpha bracket. It's a Champions rematch. We also have ourselves a Cinderella story run. Who knows what could happen with that? And of course, we have 2 matches that are going to set the stage for the entirety of the season ahead. It is genuinely incredible where we are right now in Valorant esports history, and it's only going to get better. So folks, I hope you're ready, because the lock-in day 6 starts right now. define the essence of Valorant Esports here in São Paulo, Brazil, are about to square off and make history yet again in front of this absolutely rambunctious crowd. NRG versus Loud. It doesn't get better than this.
Last year, it was dead even. 3-3 in matches, 1-1 in international tournament wins between NRG and Loud. Now, it's a new generation, 2 new players on each side to reset the expectations of this matchup.
Both of these teams have been playing so well. One of them is going to go out in the top 8. I mean, one of them is not going to make it to even a semi-finals appearance. That's if they hadn't met in a single elim bracket, that would have been considered unacceptable by both of these teams. They aim for podium spots, nothing less. And listen to the crowd. There were boos as soon as the roster came out for NRG, but NRG are no strangers to being the villains. That is a role that they embrace.
It takes a lot to give me goosebumps. And I have goosebumps right now, Mimi. This is insane. I hope you all at home can hear this because I can't even hear my thoughts.
It's near impossible to. The crowd has such incredibly high hopes for this team. They are putting their everything behind Loud, and they've got to prove it in this match.
I think the map select is going to be so interesting here. NRG have been getting rid of Ascent every time. Used to be an amazing map for Loud, but they haven't been picking it anymore. Loud have been getting rid of Haven, and it's been NRG's best map. So you're not going to see potentially two great maps, but it opens the field for weird picks. Like Loud have been loving Pearl. I mean, we've only seen NRG on Haven, Icebox. We really are going to get something different here.
Yeah, and we do get something different off the rip. Loud has shown their split already. It was that double duelist comp we talked about before, and to be honest, in my opinion, it looked kind of weak. I think NRG believe that they can defeat that composition.
Yeah,
But was it bait?
Well, I'm slightly concerned because when you think about how the battle of the IGLs is going to go here, Sadak understands how NRG play because he's played against them so many times. FNS is getting a read on a team that plays so differently now. So I'm concerned. There's a difference between theory and practice, right? In theory, you can beat the split comp. Yeah, no problem. Double duelist, yeah. But I think in practice, NRG are going to have their hands full here. What is the decider map going to be? Okay, Loud decide not to try and prey on NRG's weak-looking Lotus, and instead, the decider map here is going to be Fracture. That's another double duelist map. And NRG haven't played any of these maps so far in the tournament.
Yeah.
So you have no idea what comp they're going to play. And like I said, Sadak knows roughly the team's style, but doesn't know the comps, doesn't know anything about NRG here.
This is going to be a brand new experience for both these teams, and I think that point you make about knowing what you're going to see on paper, but not really getting the expectation of the server is going to be huge. Because when you have two duelists running at you with the individual skill this Loud team has, and the crowd cheering, the pressure can get to people, especially these two new players.
Well, the battleground for map 1 is split, and we're into the Prime Gaming Agent Select. We see what's being hovered on right now, but I'm actually curious to see if we end up getting this double duelist.
Okay, immediately Crashy's playing Killjoy is interesting to me. I wonder if that means that, so they're playing the double controller setup and Artis on KO. So it's not too crazy, but Crashy's definitely finding a new role. He's not normally a site anchor, although he did it a bit on Breeze.
Yeah, that is going to be an interesting one to see. Loud do return to their double duelist, so a lot of the pressure on this attacking side is going to be with Aspas and Sidak and how much value they can find on these entries.
Well, folks, buckle in because the hype levels are up to 9,000, and when you have a matchup as epic as this, you really need two epic commentators to drive home the action. Take it away, Pansy and Hypot.
Thank you, GB, the desk. Yeah, this is certainly the ultimate showdown in Sao Paulo. But Mike, this is the game that will finally break that deadlock here.
Absolutely, yeah. Mimi touched on this. Obviously, tied series, 3-3 maps, 9-9. The round differential is 200 to NRG, 197 to Loud. Championships 1-1. One being a little more weighted, but this is such a wild history to this matchup.
Inseparable, these two, certainly becoming the El Clasico of Valorant. And we start off on split, one of my favorites. Mike, what are we looking out for here?
I mean, I'm looking out for what NRG have prepped here. We talk about NRG being such a heavy-oriented prep team. Actually, early on here, hold that thought for a moment. Artis spotted 4, and Loud, no secrets on the way through to heaven.
No, NRG looking to silence this crowd, who are boisterous today. Artis under a lot of scrutiny early on, but actually keeps his composure, keeps his cool. Loud have a decent amount of space, though, taking over towards heaven. They will be challenged here, and he has lost down. Sadak doing well in the crowd, certainly happy about it. But they haven't broken through towards the site, and you can already see the rest of the map is starting to look heavier and heavier cleared by NRG.
This space clearance is insane by Loud. They've almost read this ropes rotation. Might be able to isolate Som here. It's got to be less to find it, though. Can Som slip away? He's found it!
Beautiful. This should be indicative that this B site is now under pressure. Spikes can be planted, but again, Som quite close by. Not going to give up too much space. Should allow for a retake to come into effect. Time now.
Sadak has to hold the fort here.
Oh,
the timing on the reflow is absolutely insane.
3v3 now. 2Es holding towards CT as well. This is nice positioning from them. Really taking over one space of the map, but they have left heaven open now for potentially this build back in from Victor, but deep angles to clear and limited time.
Victor going to make his way down towards Hell here. FNS still trying to hold on here. Actually, the smoke's going to provide a little cover, but the aggression should come back through heaven.
This is really nice. So they're putting the pressure on. They're trying to make this work. FNS is down. First strike for Loud here. Pistol's theirs.
And a massive contrast here, even in the pistol round. Look at how active Loud are around the entire map throughout here. Ardis finds that opening kill, but he's almost boxed in. He's forced to stay on rafters there. Obviously, the two members of NRG committed towards site. They can't do anything. The rotation doesn't come through CT. It's a push through mid on the other side of the map. Som luckily picking up that kill onto less. Like you said, it should be the green light basically for NRG to find that rotation, but Loud able to close out. Even in the post-spawn, look at them. They're drifting all the way back through spawn, clearing all this space. Nobody's tucked into a crossfire.
Loud should walk away with this round. We do have classics on one Frenzy for NRG. Nice positioning from Ardis, but checked on very diligently. Aspas making no mistakes here. Does eventually fall to FNS, who was waiting with that classic, but still, 4 players alive for Loud, and that weapon has been thrown back into the hands of the new blood here. So, let's see where they decide to go. NRG still trying to play these corners, but the utility here from Loud should be very telling.
So I'm not going to be able to do much to stop this. No. And 2 members of NRG still over towards A site, at least considering the rotation now. And with the audio cue here from Som, the plans coming through.
I will say, though, this does become a little bit more arena Valorant, something I haven't really talked too much about in previous events, because the crowd has certainly not been like this. You can feel it in your bones in this arena. Things may look a little different out here now, but as it stands, NRG have recovered the Spectre. Saw that did actually got filtered back in, but no, not at all. Not too clean here. Already losing out on 2, but any more would be quite surprising. Crashies may decide to dip away here.
Going to try and catch an exit maybe outside B main. It does have the Spectre in hand. Doesn't necessarily want to hold on to this by any means. And yeah, Loud actually going to exit through spawn here. Of course, Crashies to give it up to the spike. Loud will find their second. 3 survive. See with the Bulldog in hand as well. Curious to see, and again, just to come back to the compositions, talking about obviously NRG being a prep-heavy team, and on my side, really, it comes towards what NRG can achieve on the defensive side. This comp is kind of one-dimensional, right? It's kind of focused around aggression, obviously isolating these kills early on, but the late round becomes very weak for Loud if they're not rewarded.
They should be hyper aware of this. I want to see how that develops throughout this game. Now we see the buyback in, and of course Loud riding this bonus through. Still got a Bulldog to bring into effect. First contact made, picked up, lovely work, good trade. Now Heaven's open, but look at the extremity. A fight happens, but Loud still making this hyper competitive somehow. Scrappy in this, and Aspas does get himself the rifle 2Es as well.
There's 2 separate 1-for-1s there. Could be a little problematic here for Loud with less disconnected, but should be able to give Aspas some support. NRG are looking to creep through this smoke and spawn though. They waiting for a flash from Ardis.
Sure
no flash left actually.
Yeah, what would be the most of the way, just waiting on it to fade at this point. Spike is down. Ardis beginning to clear towards Heaven. Actually does catch one of the players with that knife, so Aspas going to be filtering back through, looking to try and support, and it's a shot and a half. Huge impact hit, and Crashies now a 1v2. Brutal. Out of the bonus, Loud. Turning the screws here, and Crashies knows this time is dwindling, and it is a crossfire. If he gets one, it would be a miracle here. 3 now for Loud. NRG need to make their response and make it fast.
Yeah, huge conversion for Loud here in the third. See if NRG will throw maybe a couple of stingers at this. No real ultimates to work with just yet. Loud actually not even there's online. Actually, this round looks a little strange in my eyes for NRG to be taking 2 separate kind of 1-for-1s there. Yeah. You know that Loud are going to be stacked up. They're going to look to try and convert these SMGs. I said this comp is built around isolating that opening engagement, and then NRG give them 2 separate opportunities to achieve that.
As it stands, NRG not really finding the impact they wanted here. Slow start, yes, we've known that in the past from them. Always able to turn a game around, or never losing twice was the classic from last year that we talk about. But here, Loud really do get the perfect start. Inzone opening the site, and Som going should be the green light here. Yes, they're trying to filter through from heaven, but look at what they're working with. Those Stingers really unable to close the gap, and Loud striding through the round. No issues so far. With Crashies and Artists looking to try and be disruptive as possible, but zero chances being offered. Loud looking really robust. Aspas, yes, will take a bit of damage, but caught in the end by Crashies. But again, Crashies would need something beyond his means. Loud looking good to the fourth. I want to see that buyback here for NRG because this could spiral now.
Yeah, going through the motions here. NRG unable to really put up too much of a fight with this weapon diff. Beautiful open up from Inzone though. Ultimate's just about coming online for Loud. The Cosmic Divide, the Seekers, the Blade Storm to work with here. Cosmic Divide on the other side of things, but one of the key ultimates missing here for a crucial buy round for NRG to stop this early momentum, Lauren.
Yeah, some on Operator too.
Ooh, okay.
See how that looks. I'm down to find out.
We're watching Navera VODs.
Yeah, apparently so, but Artis, unable to even see, just knew the right place and the right time and sprayed and hoped for it. Flash finds nothing, but Crashies is on the site, so Aspas has his work cut out here. Inzone with him. Stunning shot. Crashies deleted, and the site's now open and available. The Divide's going to keep them more than safe for this plant. And 4 players in the post plant with that Operator in play for Som. Going to be tricky to bring this into effect.
We have a Cosmic Divide to invest here. If they choose to.
Does Les get isolated? A worried here. Actually falls away and finds a touch of safety, but yeah, he's cooked. What? Les! Victor fortunately will find it with the satchel, but it is still a 3v2. I still want to see them try and get towards this side. They know there's still going to be one player on site. It's Inzone.
What is that shot?
The rocket comes through, but now just one. Aspas falls to the knees. And Som going to make it there just about in time.
I don't think he's got it. I don't think he's got it. It's going to be so close.
It's so close here. Oh! Som! Lucky as you like, and the boos ring out. They don't like what they're seeing here, but NRG finally stopping the flood.
I mean, it was so late in the day for that to come through. It's on the back of Victor actually picking up the 2K. The showstopper comes online, and that's the difference maker with these 2 kills, Lauren.
And even that shot from Inzone, I mean,
what
bloody
is
hell.
that?
Som.
Yeah, not even close, right?
Yeah, no sweat, no sweat. Well, the Operator stays into play still with Som, and we're looking on the outside too. He's going to start running that as well.
Very interesting face-off here with the Operators. The 2 Spectres to round out the purchase for NRG. Loud with the upper hand in that regard. Artist being rewarded a number of times here from this position.
If he finds a way to maybe capitalize further than this, he would become such a monster to handle in this position. Generally has been found afterwards. This time succeeds again. Yes, down low, but causing such a problem towards ramp. And considering he's kind of alone on this, that could have been an issue. Yes, now he's got support from the side, but the breakthrough in middle's happening. FNS, it's a whole lot of trouble coming his way, and Loud have one out in middle. Where do they want to go? The A site, they probably noted some of that utility, but the spike is a mile away, deep over towards sewers.
Yeah, they actually can't collapse onto a site on the back of this. They do equalize in terms of head count here. Artist tagged down to 16 HP. That could be the difference maker here. Inzone, did he spot him? Yeah, he did. He gets pinged out on the map. So Som has to reposition here. Artist slowly creeping this direction. Does have his ultimate, so can actually rip away the showstopper. And he does just that.
Oh my word, he's been denied! He's just absolutely denied! NRG just stopping them in their tracks. Inzone can do nothing about this! Surrounded NRG, what a round at the end!
A beautiful ultimate from Artist there, just to shut down that explosion through heaven. NRG find their second.
Found their footing, finally.
Yeah. Curious here how the purchase will sit for Loud on the back of that. This is the thing, 16 HP still able to have a huge impact on that round with the ultimate.
Yeah.
And this was with Som being noted on the Trailblazer as well, so you know full well Sadak's going to hunt down that kill.
Still a buy in hand for Loud here, so they're going to be able to get those rifles up, but you did just hear the ult going through, and that's invested towards middle from NRG. Deciding they want that under wraps, it has been a key point for Loud to try and explore, potentially late round as well, but a heavy lean towards B here, maybe looking to explore what that B site actually looks like a little earlier in this, but on the other side, of course, Som waiting, ice trained on this. has been good for it so far.
I was going to say, he's got to be careful that he doesn't get isolated here on backside. As if the Trailblazer is coming through, try and spot him out. So he can't hold this angle.
No, but he's got a second chance at life here, and Victor, wonderful timing to come over as the 1-2 punch. Aspas, he needs a frag here, and he's just not getting it. Victor playing the time well, Som not relinquishing the angle either. This could be deadly, though. Gap closed, and Loud move in. Sights there's waving that Brazilian banner, and now the spikes will be planted. This is hard work for NRG, but that ult could help.
Absolutely can, but the plant is good for main. So Loud can reset on this. Look at the lurk from Les. Can he destroy the lockdown?
It's getting so tense here, the timing's everything, and he's absolutely done what is needed. It's game back on now. Where's that next pressure point built from here? Aspas! Oh my god, he's got one! Takes out FNS, the underhand flash should have blinded, but still gonna find the frag. It's just Crashies alive. 3 players surrounding him, 1 up top, 2 to the right, 20 HP. The crowd getting louder. How does he do anything in this?
And the reads here from Loud, totally on point. On the other side of things for NRG, I got to say, a little behind that. They know that these hits are going to be invested. With this composition in particular, there's 3 separate bits of utility spotted here, and there's just not enough support for sight. Loud just overwhelmed this setup, and it's such a huge indicator that that Viper's fit in mid is still up. They know that they can basically eliminate a body from any engagement that they take.
Yeah. And that's so indicative of how quickly and how well they collapsed towards that backside of pillar there, just taking away the 2 players who were able to be present. Now shattering the economy of NRG, it puts them back down to pistols, and I think there's a stinger in play, yeah. But that's about it. Let's see what Loud can do to keep it clean. Seeing them a little bit more postured up, a little bit deeper on ramp finally. Artists traditionally sitting a little bit back further by rafters. Let's have Crashies playing the closer angle. Aspas seems aware of the possibility. Needs to be cautious on this. A little bit of a gap. Couldn't bring it down, but Les, the hero to save Aspas there, bails him out from any sort of tomfoolery that could have happened, and just slowly chipping away at this ramp hold, pulling rotations now. They're going through the motions well here.
Indeed. Almost some awareness that Artis has set up for this position deep on ramp. Once again, the read absolutely on point from Loud here.
Yeah, it's so good.
Look at the minimap right now.
Not going to sell much on B. I'm looking at there's still a player on that B side, still trying to do something. 2E's just maybe showing a little, keeping them there a little bit longer than they'd like. That could be a big lurk coming in, but Artis tries to find a moment to strike, and it's not going to happen. Les doing wonderfully this round. Aspas as well, clean work. Again, this was just a small investment from NRG. This wasn't a huge purchase. And 2E's lurk is wonderful. Lovely positioning, not going to allow FNS any room to breathe. Loud 5 alive, a Prime Gaming flawless.
And this is beautiful as well. With Les being so active in some of these rounds on that lurk, what do they show towards A? It's an operator and it's Les. So they're almost reading this is where they're going to drift away from. They actually lean heavily towards stacking that B site, anticipating that hit coming through.
You can hear the crowd, it's because of the NRG timeout. Booing. First time, yes, we talk about NRG being a little bit villainous at times, but certainly now having the crowd kind of really signifying that is quite something to hear. But now in the timeout, Chet's got the opportunity with FNS to maybe have some conversations of how they want to approach the rest of this half.
Absolutely. I'm wondering if this is the point where we do see a huge overhaul of how NRG are approaching this defense. Obviously, we talk about this time and time again. They don't have the benefit of the economy to pull back on here. These rounds become so precarious here. We're coming into round 9. We're at a 4-round deficit here for NRG. But they have to make something work here.
Yeah, the buys are so sporadic at this point, at least the full purchases. And you look at the money starting to swell behind Loud. You've got 5K, 6K, 4, sitting really quite comfortably. Still have that ult as well from Les. A couple of things to now bring in here. So this is a big timeout for NRG. They need to come up with something that's going to break this game back in potentially even their favor.
Going to take a lot for NRG. Loud really building momentum here. Victor getting closer and closer to that showstopper, but talked about it a couple of times, NRG just haven't had the benefit of ultimates in some of these key rounds. That first buy round, yes. Curious, there's not been I mean, other than Ardis drifting over, maybe a little aggression towards B main, maybe going to try and dig out this lurk, but Loud are just going to try and sell a bit of a fake early on. Now they have the benefit of, you know, having shown that some of these hits are invested, it's 4 or 5 people behind it. I just want to plant the seeds of doubt. Now the benefit being NRG actually have some utility to confirm that it is a fake AWP.
Yeah.
There's confirmation without it being triggered that nobody's made their way up towards heaven.
Yeah, you can see that there's still some consideration from Ardis having to come back around, but you're right. That's very telling though. Som needs to be on red alert now. He's got the entirety of Loud coming his way. Tries to make a quick escape back towards Pillar, but we saw that overwhelm before. Needs to make a better hold of this one, and Sadak the first man forward, it looks like. Smoke's going in and away they go. Sadak and Aspas in unison. Som towards the back of the site, still holding his nerve. The site is looking like it's under Loud control, but look at what Som's got. Still an opportunity here to do some more damage. The pre-fire, he's still standing. He's still finding some kills here. But it's 3 against 2, and the spike's going down. Crashies trying to lean a little earlier on this, but they're still so aware. Aspas unrelenting in this, leaving just FNS. Allowed right out of the back of a timeout from NRG, stamping their authority back into this game. The 7th seeming so likely now.
Now just showing no respect to this operator
Beautiful.
as well. Too easy to close things out. That's another example. We're talking about being overwhelmed. Loud are so quick to react. They spot that it's Som. He's been playing an operator and they just look to overwhelm. And once again, it's the timing in this rotation. The fact that Loud are able to come through, force Som so deep on the backside, deny any of these angles, means that they can pick up this pressure towards heaven. They know that Som can't anchor both heaven and main. So all they do is they pick up all of those kills in rotation so quickly.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if they continue to try and commit behind this switch up here. Already seeing Crashies maybe looking to try and stamp some sort of control towards that B side, but again, this is with Stingers, so as it stands, they should be comfortable towards 8. Come around, Som is here. You have FNS as well. And Ardis over towards those ropes for Loud, already taken over. Perfect beginnings towards ramp. Ardis is going to take a boatload of damage. Actually lucky to still be standing on that. Som, what a shot. That's less gone. FNS keeps his cool, but he gets outdone. 118 and slapped back. A handprint left on the face. As the plant once again will be in, and Loud look unstoppable now.
Yeah, there's very little NRG can get done in some of these rounds. Even through fault of their own. Loud just embracing this double duelist composition. Commitment behind every piece of utility.
Nothing going to waste.
No, just throwing bodies on the line together.
Very impressive to watch.
Maybe at this point the exits don't matter. Just don't want to feed across some ultimates here.
Yeah. Victor only one away from his. Crash is not super far away, but Aspas light work towards Ardis. We'll be seeing them trying to build towards, just noting these players too. He's farming now. Some of these young guns starting to feel really good on this stage, it looks like.
6-round difference here. The buy comes through around 11. Makes it very difficult if NRG don't win this. We're staring down potentially a 10-2 half here.
Yeah.
But some of these gunfights that should, or they look like they should go in favor of NRG, just don't.
There is something behind this Loud team right now. You could argue, is it an upgrade, was it a downgrade? It's too early to tell us some of these player changes. In my mind, they are absolutely worth their weight in gold currently. Double stack towards ramp though. A different look here. Crashies, FNS on the case. Oh, but Sadak, nothing could go wrong for this man. Just, oh my God, he got another. Crashies, decimated.
It's all a fake. It's the same fake as a couple of rounds ago now.
Oh,
Som gonna have his hands full on B.
Som, he's overwhelmed. Loud. They are striding through this game. Confidence sky high. Plant once again in. And I'm looking for that late lurk as well coming through Karanzine. The positioning could be deadly. If he even needs it. Ardis and Victor trying to work through from heaven now, but the ult's in place.
Seal the deal on this site and the round potentially as well, unless Ardis and Victor can get anything done here. Information off the boom bot. But actually the stun comes through. That's going to slow Ardis down a little bit.
The time is dwindling and he's just thriving! Loud making it up to 9. NRG are folding under this pressure.
Buckling. Som once again just overwhelmed. He's left as this anchor again.
There's only so much he can do.
Absolutely. And Loud are just so good NRG are trying to react so quickly to some of this pressure coming through, but even halfway through that, I think at the first point of contact, Loud are already rotating away from this. Throw a little bit of utility out. NRG unfortunately hitting the panic button. Just think these rash decisions, they come through when they don't have the benefit of the finances. They've had no comfort whatsoever in this half, Lauren.
No, they haven't. Loud wanting those double digits on that first half attempt here. NRG exploring towards A, but there is a deep hold here. It is less. And is this another read? This feels like it's been reading the NRG book, but Som has found value. Finally, a little bit of reprise after what has been a brutal half for him on the B side.
That's big damage, so.
Massive from Crashies. This is the switch up that we saw coming out in one of those kind of stinger rounds, now finding value here in the buy.
What a combo, even with the snake bite on top. Look at this lurk though. I'll say the flank actually coming through from Victor. He's outside B main right now. Did retrieve that rifle.
Oh, unaware that Som could have been on the site. Good trades in Aspas. Venomous in heaven. 2v3, Kawanzin and Aspas. Oh my word, Som's just around the corner. The smoke drops and Victor's there. And now Aspas, let's see what you got. Hometown hero, anything to be done? No! Clutching in the final round here. NRG holding on to a potential scoreline, Mike. It's not much, but it's 3 rounds to play with.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best of a bad scenario, to be honest with you. This almost felt like it should have been 10-2 on this half.
Yeah.
Loud playing absolutely lights out here on split. Unfortunately, some of the things I was looking towards as the positives, NRG not bringing an awful lot in terms of the prep. Maybe we see it in the second half here, Lauren.
And that's what we're going to be looking out for, but I want to hear the thoughts from the desk.
Thank you so much for that. And look, I think it's safe to say NRG thought that they had it, and now they're just getting sucked in the mouth here on Split. Loud are playing unbelievable.
They are, and NRG here tried to challenge this double duelist composition, but I think the game plan they came in with had some issues. And to look back, I think a big part of that was some of these ideas around the way that they were anchoring sites and the commitment to opping on Som, excuse me. This one in particular is round 9. Som is sitting backside alone on this Astra, trying to hold down the fort with the operator. And he's going to get 2 kills here. That's great and all, but the issue is when he's set up like this, it's really tough for him to use utility.
He doesn't
and on
use
top
a
of
single
that,
piece.
yeah, NRG is having to commit resources to help him. You see Victor kind of dives in to try and support Som, but just dies for nothing. In this case, his commitments to trying to fight the site have meant that NRG's retakes have been dismal.
And I mean, look at the difference between Sadak's IGLing style and FNS. This isn't specifically a point about this, but it's something to keep track of the whole tournament. Sadak's been playing a lot of duelist. It empowers this crazy aggressive style. And he frags, man. He's up in people's faces, making plays all over the place. And now FNS really needs to rely on the brain element of his game. That's what he's known for. And so he's got to come up with a great game plan now on the attack side when their team plays much more slowly. They came in with a plan, it failed, and now they need to adjust. The crazy thing is, NRG only lost 4 full buy rounds, but it was every round that was the most important. There was the economy breaking rounds. So they've been put in a terrible hole, another slow start. It's on FNS's attack side calling to dig them out.
This is brutal, 9-3, and the thing is that Loud probably will not slow down. Even on this defensive side, they will continue to throw gambits, be aggressive, and have super powerful retakes with this double duelist composition. It's going to be super difficult for NRG.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And Loud has no reason to slow down. Not in this arena, not with these people behind them. And NRG is going to have their work cut out for them, but I think it's safe to say Loud are on fire. Casters, over to you.
You're not wrong, GB. They certainly are. And at 9-3, Aspas, Tui, Sadak all putting in fantastic performances. And now they can truly let loose here.
Yeah, and this is where we actually come back to. I'm glad Bren touched on this on our Telestrated segment earlier on. That head-to-head, the difference, or the mid-round difference between FNS and Sadak. This is where we should see it employed from FNS. A focus on macro and punishing some of these missed positions. And how aggressive did Loud go on the defensive side here?
Well, it's an all-in coming out from NRG, but Aspas with a quick execution wanted more. Doesn't get it, but Sadak quickly swings. Lovely work between the two. NRG, though, still finding some value towards this site. Oh, Artis!
The fadeaway.
Nasty shot. Nasty as hell. But Som is the walking wounded here. Barely breathing at 4 HP. Come off it! What is that frenzy?
There's no trade. FNS is tucked in.
Oh Oh my God, this is...
He wants to bank on this position, Lauren.
This is, it's so all in. Do they check on this? Tui's the young player himself, so much pressure on this one-man shoulders. He does come through from heaven. How meticulously do they clear? It's all on one. He drops down, Tui's all too aware, 26 HP, and we hit the 4. And the new Brazilian blood doing wonders for Loud. That's double digits starting out in the second half.
The Red Bull clutch in the pistol to get Loud to double digits. Even there, so many positives on the way in. NRG playing effective trades. That's where things stop here. I mean, less is 40 HP. Maybe that was just lost in the communication there. But it puts Som in such an awful position.
Yeah.
NRG throwing back in this one. SMGs, they're going to try and deathball back onto A site.
Just feels like a swan song though. Cowanzine back by Pillar, up towards heaven. You got Aspas, you got Less. Where is the difference going to come from? Right there, Victor. Good start. Finesse does convert the frag though. Did get a trade for Aspas, so not out of the woods just yet, NRG. But they are clinging onto this round. Aspas, he's falling up towards Crashies. And again, Loud are just demolishing NRG. This is the best opportunity they've had in a moment's time. This is going to be 11 artists. You need something out of this world, and it ain't going to happen. Tui's tying up this round, putting a bow on it. Sadak thriving in this. He knows he's got him on the ropes here at 11.
And it's similar to the first half. Loud happy to fight fire with fire. They scramble this rotation, and it's absolute commitment behind it. Everybody happy to commit to this engagement. What a clearance as well from Aspas. NRG, again, this is basically one opportunity.
They're looking quite shattered right now, really. This is their map choice too. What a scary factor here. Where you felt most comfortable.
And the problem being with this scoreline, we're not seeing some of the things we alluded towards NRG being that prep-heavy team, having some real opportunities to anti-strat Loud. We just haven't had a chance to see it.
No.
We kept using this word overwhelm in the first half. And that's all it felt like. Every Loud approach was looking to just pressure one person. Unfortunately, Som had the rough end of that in the first half a number of times.
And again, keep this in mind for NRG. He's currently top of the board, so he did the best he could with it.
He went down swinging.
Yeah, he did. Brutality throughout this game. Loud at 11 already. And NRG, I don't know what options you really have here. Try and temper the pace. Loud look unstoppable so far.
They're toying with the purchase here. Again, we can obviously see the purchase on the other side. Loud still carrying SMGs into this, so it's as good as an equal fight as you're going to get here in round 15 at an 11-3 scoreline.
El Clasico getting to have the beauty of a home crowd. And it's certainly making a difference for Loud here. However, we go back in, and NRG have bought what they can. Potentially the dying breaths here in this map. Aspas, gotta be careful. Som is waiting.
Som on the rope here. Well, Aspas is going to commit to this here. Showing restraint. There's a spike there in Som's hands. FNS finally making his way across. NRG trying to pump a little bit of pressure towards mid. Maybe keep Sadak and Less in position, but the timing of the flash here going to confirm presence once again outside 8.
Aspas.
No dash here for Aspas though.
Cowanzine and Aspas waiting here. 4 players on the other side. Contact made. Aspas, the perfect flash. It's 1 and it's 2. Aspas slicing through NRG. And their hopes being left in tatters now. Artist still trying to fight the fight for NRG. And they're biting on this. Does the spike go back through? Yes, it does. Artist immovable until then. Less catching him in the heels, and now where does that spike go?
30 seconds.
Crashes has slipped the net a little bit here.
But he has to find value. He can't put it all up to Som. He can't just hold this.
Problem being Cowanzine's a little disconnected. That might be the difference maker with Crashies slipping into spawn.
He won't even be able to clear Kawanzin here. Absolutely no way. And the time now is the biggest enemy to NRG. Crashies, he may be able to take down one.
It's done.
But the time is all but over. 3 seconds. He can just watch the clock rot. It's going to be 12. Loud running through NRG currently. The closest attempt we've seen so far. But the economy is going to be absolutely tatty from start to finish here for NRG. Full purchase could be had now for Loud, maybe missing some pieces. But they have been just going from strength to strength here, Mike.
And it's another round for Kawanzin and Aspas. This, again, I was talking the other day about Kawanzin being the second layer to some of these plays. They're just such a solid duo to put in a position like this where they can just take a scrappy little engagement, dip out, and it just creates a disadvantage for NRG. The other thing as well, you look at the mini-map back in that round, as soon as Artist gets that kill, they send 3 people barreling towards him.
Oh, Sadak unleashing, and well, didn't go to plan.
Is that a trade?
Hey, you know what, we'll call it that. And well, we'll call this round done, because Tui's has got 3 off of the hat trick, doesn't get the 4th, and Crashies, have you got it in you? You got 1 minute to play with here. Has the spike, has a couple more seconds of safety, but those are dwindling now. What can he make of this? The flash, we'll note he's still on site. He's got 2 to try and get past Kawanzin and less, and the timing. Crashies, he now knows. They've crossed the site, and he is petrified in this corner. Creeping closer to players. Crashies turns, and Loud are there. It's map 1, locked in for Loud. NRG falling to pieces in front of the 6th man here, who are on their feet already.
A very one-sided first map here, a statement made. NRG liked what they saw from Loud's previous appearance here with this composition. Loud almost doubling down on it, almost countering that read and going overly aggressive from what we saw previously, and making this composition work.
Get a second to compose themselves, as Pearl will be that next battle to try and take on to. And some key moments throughout this, I mean, I've got to say for me as well, Tui's, Kawanzin, some critical impact in this. We're talking about the new blood coming in. They are holding their weight here, Mike.
Absolutely, and just to come back to a comment as well, it's rough to see NRG, a team that mechanically are so on point usually. There was just a number of times where there was gunfights just not going their way. And that's really unfortunate to see. You can't really discredit them in that regard, because now they stuck to the game plan, and it worked from the get-go. It's in the first half, NRG barely got a look in on those buy rounds, even converting round 12 that shouldn't have been the round that they won anyway.
No. A lot of issues starting to show for NRG here if this carries on forward. I mean, 3 rounds is just simply not enough, considering that was their map choice, considering you feel as though they came in with a game plan. I'm a little worried, but Pearl, do you think it gives them any sort of chance here?
Positive to build upon, obviously. We come back to that. You
Please.
need one? We come back to talk about NRG in terms of prep. Loud have shown their Pearl here. So what have NRG done to actually address that? Because we're coming in now, obviously, as Loud's map pick, they felt confident with it.
Okay, those are the questions I'm sure the desk will be breaking down as well, so let's hand it back over to them before we get ready for map 2.
gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.